In this section, let's understand about Cloud SQL. So Cloud SQL is a fully managed relational database service, which means you don't need to maintain any server to maintain your database. Okay, so you can directly use your database over the Google Cloud. And cloud, as you know, we just gone through the basics about Cloud SQL in a very first video uh, about storage, right? So as you know, Cloud SQL supports MySQL, PostgreSQL, and Microsoft SQL Server. So, and when it comes to uptime for Cloud SQL, GCP is providing 99.95% uptime SLA, which would come around max to max. If you see for the downtime, it would be around some 4 hours and 23 minutes, I believe. Yeah, 4 hours and 23 minutes maximum downtime expected per year. Okay, and it is an vertical scalability. So there are two type of scalability. One is vertical scalability and the other one is horizontal scalability. Uh, Cloud SQL is in vertical scalability. However, Cloud Spanner is in horizontal scalability. So the meaning of vertical scalability is, say for example, just consider that you have SQL where you have some 8 GB RAM and two virtual CPU and 100 GB storage. And at a point of time, when you want to increase the storage, the resource, okay, just consider that you are adding more data and you are in the situation to extend the resource. So in that case, you can extend that 8 GB to 16 GB RAM and 2 virtual CPU to 4 virtual CPU and 100 GB to maybe 1 TB hard disk as well. So like that, you can extend the same machine. Basically, you are using a same machine and you can extend the resource of the same machine. But again, you cannot extend it infinity, right? There is some limitation as it is deployed on the single hardware. However, when it comes to horizontal scalability, it's not about increasing the resources of a same machine. Instead, you can add multiple machines to do the to perform the same operations. Okay, you can integrate multiple machines. So here Cloud SQL, it supports vertical scalability, where if you want, you can increase the resources based on your requirement till some extent. Okay, and here Cloud SQL supports both SSD and HDD, and there is if you maybe I'll show you in the console, there is a big differences of using SSD and HDD, and also there is differences in cost as well. And you can provide high availability if there is if in case of any failure of one region or something like that, you can always have an high availability. And also it supports backup and restore. So you can take the backup of your database whenever means on your requirement, and also you can restore it in case of any failure. And it supports strong encryption method, as like you can use either Google encryption or else you can use your customized encryptions as well, keys as well. And it allows you to do read replica. So these are the few advantages or features about Cloud SQL. Let's understand about Cloud SQL practically. Okay. Maybe let's understand with about Cloud SQL in three different stages, as like in three different videos. Maybe in this video, let's see how to create a Cloud SQL instance, and within that, how to create. In the first video, in this video, let's see how to create Cloud SQL instance, and what are the parameters we need to be aware and while creating a SQL instance. And in the second video, let's understand about creating databases, managing databases, adding a table and inserting row or data to the table like that. And in the third video, let's understand about the other features as like backup, restore, read replica, and so on. Okay, let's proceed with hands-on experience. I'm in the Google console now. So either you can go to the navigation bar or else you can search here itself. So in order to use the SQL instance, in order to create SQL instance, you can search SQL here. So you'll be seeing this option SQL. So for the very first time, you'll be asking to it would be asking you to enable that API. So once it's done, you can create the instance. So in order to create the instance, you can click here, create instance, or else you can click here as well. Okay, so once you click the create instance, there would be three options in front of you. One is MySQL, PostgreSQL, and SQL Server. And so this is what we discussed earlier in the theory part, right? So means that Cloud SQL supports three kind of things, as like MySQL, PostgreSQL, and Microsoft SQL Service. So let me go with MySQL. So choose MySQL. So let's go step by step. So the first one is, you should give the name to the instance that we are creating. So I'm creating like MySQL E. Okay, fine. So I'm giving the name MySQL ENG. And when it comes to password, there are three options. One is you can create your password. You means you can define your password, or else you can generate it, which means it will be auto generated, and you can use the same password. And the other one is you can go without password. So always it's not suggested. It is always recommended to go with password only, especially in production. Make sure that you have passwords, and strong passwords as well. So for demonstration, I'm just creating a password here. Okay, I'm not going with the auto generated password. I'm defining the passwords here. So whenever you're defining a password here, make sure to remember it, or else just for a demonstration purpose, if you're trying, keep simple passwords. But make sure while you're working in the production, make sure to keep strong passwords. Okay. And here for MySQL, three versions are supported, as like 5.6, 5.7, and 8.0. Maybe let me go with 5.7. And here you can choose the type of a configuration you're looking for. Either you are creating this instance for production environment or for a development environment. So based on that, your other resources will be selected automatically. However, it's not limited to it. You can customize it at any point of time, and even now also we can customize it. Okay, fine. So as I'm creating it for demonstration, I'm just going with the development where it is deployed in a single zone, and with the two virtual CPUs and 8 gig memory, 100 GB storage. And also, as I said, it's not limited to it. We can always modify it. I'll show you. Okay. And when it comes to region, we have few other options, as like either we can go with single region or we can go with multi-region for high availability. High availability means, say for example, if you are deploying your instance only in one region, for some reason, if there is any maintenance window, or if for any reason if there is any issue in that particular region, there may be a chance you may face an issue, right? You may not able to access your SQL instance at that point of time, and during that maintenance or disaster, whatever it is. But high availability is, if you are deploying your same instance in more than one or multiple zones, though one zone is under maintenance or disaster or whatever it is, you can still access your instance which is available in the other zones. This is what high availability is. Okay, so if you are going with a single zone, it would be asking us like, means basically here you'd be defining your region. Okay, by default it is Iowa, US Central one, and you can choose anyone based on your requirement. And again, once you choose the region, when it comes to zone also, you can specifically choose which zone you are looking for. Okay, and or else if you're not you don't want to choose any specific one, you can go with any, and Google itself will do it for you. Okay, or else if you're going for multi zone for high availability within the region, okay, within the region, if you're going for a multi zone, then here you can choose what is your primary zone and what is your secondary zone. Or again, if you keep it as like any, then if you're just keeping as like any different from primary, then your primary zone will be chosen as your central one A. However, apart from this zone, any other zone will be selected as the secondary. Again, this is for high availability within the zone, and if in case you are going with the production, then there is a chance of having multi-region as well. Okay, this is multi-zone only, but if you're creating for production, there is an option to deploy in multi-regions as well. So let me go with single zone. and show configuration options. So here we would get more informations as like machine type. We can customize as per our requirement as like machine type, storage, connections, data protection, maintenance, flags and labels. Let's go through one by one. Machine type is about the machine family which you are choosing. Okay, and if you see here, you choose the development. If in case you choose development, by default, okay, Google suggests to go with this kind of resources like two virtual CPUs and 8 gig memory. So this is what it is chosen here. Okay, and also as I said, you can, if you want, you can modify that as well. You can go with this or this based on your requirement. And as it's a demonstration, I'm just going with shared core or lightweight. Okay, so if it is a lightweight, it is only one virtual CPU with 3.75 GB RAM. Fine. So this is about machine family, and here storage comes. So as I said earlier, it support using both SSD and HDD. You can choose any one among the both, among the available two. But if you see here, the network throughput when you choose SSD, sorry, the disk throughput and IOPS when you choose SSD, say for example this value, the disk throughput, it is 48 out of 240. Okay, and the write throughput is again 48 for 72. However, if you choose HDD, it is only 12. Both read and write is 12, whereas in SSD it is 240, 240 or 48, yeah, 48, but in SSD it is 12. As like the same in IOPS, it is 75 out of 3000 and 150 out of 15,000, but in SSD it is 3000. Okay, so which means that your performance would be great with low latency and high throughput. And here is the place where you need to define your storage. So as it's a demonstration, I don't need to have 100 GB storage. Let me go with 10 GB, just less. And this is an option, enable automatic storage increase, which means, say for example, now I have enabled, I'm going with the 10 GB, right? Storage. If in case when my storage utilization is crossing beyond 90-95%, Google itself automatically increase my storage. Okay, so there won't be any service impact, or you won't face any impact because of that. Okay, but if in case you disable it, you cannot store more data beyond 10 GB. Fine. So when it comes to advanced encryption method, either you can go with Google encryption, or else if you want, you can use the customer managed encryption keys as well. Connection also, if you want, you can keep it private, internal connection only within GCP, or else you can make it public, which is available over the internet. And here, if in case, and also when it comes to public, right, you can also define, limit the set of IP addresses, like only these subnets, the request or access from only these IP addresses are allowed. So you can define that as well. You can add that subnet as well. So data protection, when it comes to data protection, there are two main options, as like one is automatic backup and the other one is point in recovery. So automatic backup is, you can specify at what time you want, means earlier if you are going for high availability within the regions and all, and also in addition to that, whenever you're creating a SQL instance, backup will be created automatically for the very first time. Okay, and if you're enabling automatic backup, so in the whatever time you're defining here, at that particular time window, Google will automatically backup your data. And again, if how you want to have it, within the region or to which location it is, so that also you can define, and number of backups, how many backups you would like to have, that also possible. Okay, point in time recovery, at which point of, say for example, if something happens and if you want to recover, okay, so from which point you want to recover back, that is possible. And enable deletion protection is, if in case it is enabled, this instance won't be able to delete until the feature is disabled. Okay, means accidentally also you will not able to delete it. maintenance. Say for example, if there is any kind of a maintenance, it would be GCP performs as like patch update or whatever it is. So any kind of a maintenance at which would be your convenient time to GCP to perform your maintenance activity, GCP to perform the maintenance activity. Okay, and there is an option also. You can define as like either you can define this is the time period. From here you can define, maybe if you feel that maybe Sunday I'll take, if you feel that you'd be having a very less traffic on Sunday, and if you define as Sunday midnight 12 a.m. to 1 a.m., if you feel that there won't be much traffic, and you can select that, so that any patch activity or any maintenance window would be GCP would consider this to perform it, okay, for your instance. And say for example you have some, you don't want to you don't want GCP to touch your instance for any defined period of any defined time period. Okay, you're considering that, or else consider a situation that where you're having some very good business or a critical business time, good business period, peak periods for next 7 days or 30 days, whatever it is. So in that case, you can define, so from this date to this date, don't do any maintenance in my system. I don't want to have any downtime. I don't want to have any service interruption. So that is also possible. And flags, if you want, you can define, and label also, as you know, you can define. So once you define all this parameter, you can see the summary of all the informations here. If, we went with region, but default one, US Central one, Iowa, and I chose MySQL 5.7 version DB version with one virtual CPU and 3.75 GB with 10 GB of storage. And these are the network throughputs, and based on the SSD which we chose, we have a disk throughput and IOPS and connection. I'm just going with the public one, and backup is automated. Okay, so this is how it will show you the summary of all the configuration setup. So once it is done, then you can click here to create your instance. So if you see here, you'd be seeing the progress of creating the instance, and it would take for means at least 3 to 5 minutes time. Okay, so so this is how you can create the MySQL instance in the GCP. So I'm stopping this video here. Okay, and it would take another 5 minutes to create this instance. So I'm stopping this video here. In our next video, let's understand about this overview informations, and then we'll discuss about the databases. Let's create databases using even from GUI, web GUI, and as well as in the shell. Okay, let's create database. Let's create table. Let's insert some data within that, and let's try to query that. So let's do some testings with the databases in our next video, and in the other video let's discuss about this special things as like backup, replica, importing, exporting, those stuffs. Okay, let's continue in the next video.